Welcome back, everybody. Today I'll be talking about the Su-30SM2. It's a Tier 8, Level 12 aircraft that costs 45,000 coins, and it's in the Russian tech tree. So let's begin. The Su-30SM has a pretty decent stat for a top tier aircraft with a thrust to weight ratio of 1.23 and a max speed of 2,150. It has a pretty decent turn rate, which also get benefit from your thrust vectoring. It has a decent optimal speed, which could help you in a dogfight, but this aircraft has pretty poor energy retention. The avionics for the Su-30 is pretty good since it has the same radar as the Su-35 with a max range of 296, which also gives a very high search azimuth, which let you basically notch while locking onto your aim target with the Spout-32 RWR, which is, in my opinion, probably the best RWR in the game. And the radar has about a Doppler filter about of 5 meters per second, which is pretty decent. The three infrared missiles you get for the Su-30SM is the R-73, the R-74M, and then R-27ET. The R-73 is a stock missile, which means you could get it for free. The R-27ET costs 40 upgrade points, and the R-74M costs 190 upgrade points. In my opinion, you don't need to get any infrared missile unless you really want to do in duels, since 99% of the time you are not getting a close engaged moment in the Su-30. The R-27ER is a SAR missile for the Su-30. Personally, I have never used it before for the Su-30, so I don't know how well it performs. But it's a semi-active radar homing missile, so it's probably not better than the other missile like the R-37M or the R-37M. The Su-30SM includes 3 active radar homing missiles, including the R-77-1, which is a stock missile, the R-37M, which costs 250 upgrade point, and the R-77M, which costs 200 upgrade point. Personally, if you have upgrade points, you should get the R-37M and the R-77M, since trying to use R-77-1 is not the best. I kinda want to talk about the Spout-32, the RWR on the Su-30SM. It's a pretty good RWR combined with the 84 chaff you have for the Su-30SM. It's pretty good. My playstyle for this aircraft, which is basic for every single Russian plane, is get high, launch your missile, and rearm and repeat. And if you want to see like if your missile hit, look at the green bar on your right side for your missile. If they're on the line, that means they have a chance to get away. If they're on the bottom half of the line, it means in the dead zone, which means they cannot escape no matter what. Well, here I lock my missile into thermal phase, and I fire some R-77M to this Eurofire Typhoon. And a few seconds later, my R-37M hit. Well, I have to notch this missile first, and it's actually very easy to notch on the Su-30 due to the amount of chaff and flares you have. Over here, I fire my R-37M at this Su-27. The missile I launched previously at the R-27M at this Eurofighter Typhoon has been notched, and now I'm just waiting to track. I fire another batch of R-77M, and a missile was launched at me, so I began notching as multiple missiles is coming after me. This is what my favorite part for the Su-30, the amount of chaff and how easily you can notch the missile. And after this, I'll just begin trying to track my target and later return back to base and rearm and do it again. So after when you arm, I recommend you fly back to like your teammate and get some altitude and turn back again and fire a missile. Since if you do it like right now, you'll get close to the enemy and the enemy will launch at you, which you're not get any height to launch a missile. Over here, I fire my R77M just in case my teammate's missile get notched, since I'm not 100% sure if my teammate fired at this Su-27. As I predicted, the Su-27 died to my teammate. Here I fire another 2 R77M to this Su-27, hoping that it would hit, but my teammate just died. So I was trying to predict if a missile is probably gonna come. A good thing, as I said, like you could go in a notching position while you could lock an enemy target, which is very good. Here I'm trying to rearm after firing all my missiles, and an enemy missile is coming after me, and so I start beginning notching while I got a kill on a J16. I easily notched this missile without any problem and return to the base area and do it again. Here I launched 3 R77M at this MiG-29, hoping it would hit. I'm preparing in a notching position. A few seconds later, my R77M hit, and I fired 2 R77M at this Su-27 and 2 at this F-16 and began notching, which I notched it perfectly. And another missile was here. I think a PL-15, which I barely notched it, which is kind of lucky. Unfortunately, all my missiles got notched, which was kind of sad, but it was okay. Here, I fired 2 R37M at this Su-27 and 2 R37M at this Eurofighter Typhoon. Here, my R37M hit, and I fired another 2 R37M at this Su-57 and started to notch against an enemy missile, which was pretty easy. And another one, which I notched, and another one, which I notched, and another one, and another one. Multiple missiles coming at me, which I barely notched it. It was really close. Here I launched 2 R37M and gets this F-14 and begin turning. Here I was locking on this F-14 and few missiles came over my way while I was trying to lock this F-14, and I easily notched all of them. Later I fired 2 R37M at this F-14 that had died previously, and 2 R37M at this F-18, and another 2 R77M at this Su-27, and start beginning to turn and pre-notch. My R37 got the F-14B, and my R77M got the F-18. I was still locking onto the Su-27 until a missile came my way and started notching, which I did it very easily with no pressure. And I decided to turn back and face this F-14 and decided to fire rest of my R77M, which was 2 of them. As I was coming down to rearm, my R77M got the F14B. After I rearmed and got back to my altitude, I fired 2 R77M at this F18 and fired another 2 R77M at this F18. Here I fired 1 R37M and 1 77M at this J10, which is a very big threat to me as the PL-15 is very powerful. And my R37, I fired another R77M at this SU-27. And I did that begin to notch, and this SU-27 is getting locked by my previous R77M that was targeting somebody else and giving me the kill. Here I fired 2 R37M at this F18, which could have hit, but my teammate got the kill before me. Here I fired 2 R37M at this SU-27 and began to turn away. I fired another 2 R37M at this SU-27 and begin to prepare for a notch since I think a missile is gonna come. And as I called it, a missile did come. Well, I easily notched it with little problem. I fired 2 R77M at this SU-27, which I hope it will not get notched since I kind of need a kill right now. Because all I did was just notch a missile for the game so far. But my R77 hit the SU-35 and I began notching a missile that was coming after me, which was pretty easy since they were not scattered around. And my R77 got another kill against the SU-35 and I fired 2 R77 against this F-16, which I doubt will hit since he was very low to the ground. And I fired 2 R77 against this SU-27, hoping it will hit. As none of my missile hit, and a missile was coming after me, which was a AIM-174, which I could not defend. Here I launched 2 R37 at this SU-27 and 2 more R37 at a different SU-27, hoping it would hit. Unexpected PL-15 came right next to me, which I did not defend in time. But when I spot in, my R37M hit SU-35, which was a win. Here, my R37M hit an SU-30 just before the round ended, which was pretty neat. And my final opinion on the Su-30SM2 is that it's a pretty good aircraft, and in my opinion, it's pretty beginner friendly due to the amount of countermeasure it has, and it has pretty good missiles, a pretty decent radar, and the Spiral-32 RWR is pretty good. So if you have like the coins to get it, you should. And I have a great time playing this thing. Like, I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, if you like this video, you can leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.